So I know it's been hot here lately, but one August when I was in middle school growing up, it was so hot in August in my backyard that the rubber on my shoes literally melted and stuck to the concrete. Now I'll remind you these stories have to be true. So I'll explain this. I know it was August. I mean, it's kind of fuzzy thinking back that long. I know it was August because I was wearing brand new shoes. My family wasn't wealthy. We kind of struggled to get along. We were a family of 4 kids. So I was not wearing Adidas or Reebok or Nike. I was wearing the finest shoes you could buy at Kmart on the clearance rack. And I was wearing new shoes because we were getting ready to go back to school. It was August. I also know that it was August because there was a level of boredom that middle school kids only reach in August. When you've swum in the lake 1,000,000 times and played in the sprinkler 10,000 times and played with your squirt guns until they fell apart. So my brother and I, we both had the same brand new shoes that were in that clearance rack. We're ready to do something dangerous and stupid. We loved the 4th of July. And thank goodness we did not have the internet back then because we decided we were going to make our own homemade firework. So using what little limited knowledge of pyrotechnics we had, we went into the garage with a small sandwich bag and put a little bit of a number of different things that said flammable on them into the bag. We then took this bag out and hung it from a string on the swing set, and we tied another string to the bottom of it, and we lit that fuse and ran, thinking that this was going to explode. It did not. Instead, what happened was the fire went up that wick, and it started burning slowly on the bag, and then finally a little bit of that flammable mixture fell out and went shoo, and made a little circle of flame underneath it. But then it kept on burning up the bag, and the hole got bigger, and then went, and there was a bigger circle underneath it, and then finally everything that was left with a huge tsunami of flames underneath, which to a 12-year-old boy was so cool that we had to do it again. So we went and got another sandwich bag and filled it up all the way with flammable liquid this time. But instead, we set up a small little town underneath it. There was a one-armed Chewbacca and a pirate Playmobil guy down there and a little hut that they were, and we lit it and the same thing happened. So cool. And the only way to make this cooler was to do it bigger. So that last time, some of the grass around the swing set had caught on fire and we'd kind of stomped it out. And we knew that since we were going to a gallon Ziploc bag, we wanted to be safer. So we went to this area in the yard where it was the entrance to our downstairs. It was set in a hill. So there was a concrete slab with like retaining walls on either side. So kind of a hallway, if you will. And we set a bar across that thinking, well, now the fire's falling on concrete. That's better than falling where there's grass that can catch fire. And we filled the gallon bag and hung it, and we lit it, and the same thing happened. Boom! And all of a sudden, that entire concrete slab was on fire, and it was just then that we realized that those retaining walls were made out of wood. And not just wood, they were railroad ties which were soaked in creosote. For anyone who doesn't know, creosote was used to preserve wood and keep carpenter ants and termites out of it. Creosote is also highly flammable. So we freaked out. I specifically freaked out. I panicked. And I started trying to stomp on the fire to put it out. I looked like a short, little, chubby Michael Flatley dancing on the fire, trying to stomp it out. My brother said, "Get away." And I said, "The fire! Get away! I've got to put it out! Get away!" I finally step away, and he tips over the large piece of plywood that he had set there, and it extinguishes the fire. And I take a deep breath, and he starts laughing, and he points, and he says, Mom's gonna kill you. Look at your shoes. So I look down at the charred, bubbling, molten mass where the shoes had once been, and I freak out, and I take the shoes off. But I wasn't as stressed as I probably should have been at that moment because I had a secret. And as I turned and ran as fast as I could to find a hiding space, over my shoulder I yelled to my brother, "Mom's gonna kill you. I couldn't find my shoes. Those were yours."